Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, my name is Bhairavan and this is our third lecture of subject Artificial Intelligence. The topics that we will discuss in our today's lecture are fully observable versus partially observable. These are the environment properties. The second is the comparison of deterministic versus strategic, episodic versus sequential, static versus dynamic, discrete versus continuous, single agent versus multi agent. So, these are the different environment properties when we are working in different kind of environment. So, the properties could be from the following properties. So, here is a very um, explainable example of environment examples, like if you are playing a chess, so what this would be, what this type of example would be. Here you can see that this chess game environment is fully observable, and if you have a chess without a clock, that is also fully observable. Whether this is what kind of deterministic this environment is, this is strategic. These both examples are strategic because we have to make some strategy before moving. Episodic, sequential. In this example, you can first move from his place to this place and then from this place to this place. You cannot simply jump from this place to this place. So this is sequential. This environment would be sequential. Strategic, this is semi and this is static. Whether this is discrete environment, yes, this is discrete. Discrete environment means whether you have 0 or you have 1, or you have different equal, I must say, different steps that you have to move on. And in this example you can see that there are different movable steps. How many agents are working in this environment? There are multi agents. All these are agents that will move around in between the in the chess. So here you can see different that we have discussed below, discussed in the previous slide, that these are the different types of environments. So the next is poker. In the poker game, whether this game is observable, whether this game is fully observable, no, this is partially observable. Whether this is deterministic, no, this is strategic. We have to make strategy while playing cards. Whether this is sequential, yes, this is sequential. This is static, and this is discrete. You have to move one card to another and that card to another, and this is multi-agent. Backgammon game, this is fully observable, this is sequential, this is static, yes, this is static. Discrete, yes, this is discrete. You have either 0 1 or 0 or 0. So the agents that are working in this environment are multi-agent. So this example is uh, fully observable, this is sequential, this is static, this is discrete, and this is multi-agent. This example we have discussed in our previous lecture, that driving a car is partially observable. This is sequential. You cannot jump the car from one street to another. You have to follow some sequence of road. This is static. No, this is dynamic. This is discrete. No, this is continuous. Your car is not jumping from one street to another, from one road to another. You are basically following the continuous. And what type of agent? This is multi-agent. Many cars are moving on the road. Medical diagnosis, if you have to diagnose any, I must say, any patient. So what type of this environment would be? This is observable. No, this is partially observable. This is episodic. This is also static. This is continuous. You have to observe any patient continuously. And this is single. You will have a single patient in front of you. Image analysis, if you have to figure out what is inside this picture, what type of environment this would be? This would be, as you can see, this is fully observable, this is deterministic, yes, this is deterministic, this is episodic, this is static, this is semi-static, this is discrete, yes, this is discrete, and here you have to observe only one agent. So these are the different properties of this environment that you are looking in the picture. If we talk about robot part picking, this is a robot, and this robot have to pick some uh, parts. So this is fully observable. If there is a robot and he has to pick something from somewhere, so the environment should be fully observable. This is deterministic. This is episodic. Yes. This is static. No, this is semi. Sometime the actuator or the arm of the robot will stop. Sometime it will move. So this is semi-static. Discrete. Yes, this is discrete. Either it has value 1, either the arm is moving or it is static. This is single agent. You can see only one ball picking and only one robot is using or showing in this picture. Interactive English tutor. This is partially observable. This is sequential. This is dynamic. English language is very much dynamic. This environment is discrete and there are multi agents. So these are the different examples of the environments, and the environment could be fully observable, it could be partially observable. So there will be there are two types of observance, one is fully and second is partially. In this deterministic, this is strategic, or this could be stochastic. Episodic, this could be sequential, or this could be episodic. Static, this could be semi-static, or this could be static, or this environment could be dynamic. This could be discrete or continuous. There are two types of environment. Either the environment would be discrete or it would be continuous. Agent, agent could be multi-agent, or this agent could be single. So this slide is all about the different examples of environment. Dear student, I would like to repeat this example. You have to observe this example carefully. You can revise this example. This is example of poker. You can revise these properties of environment. As you can see in the backgammon, taxi driving example. So these are the important questions of paper point of view. Medical diagnosis, as you can see here. Image analysis, robot part picking, you can see here. Interactive English tutor. Here is an example of interactive English tutor. So all we have discussed are the examples of environmental properties. So in paper point of view, you have to have discrimination of all these properties of environment. You should know what is fully observable and what is partially observable. You should know what is deterministic and what is strategic, what is episodic and what is sequential. If I say what is sequential, so sequential means that is that anything that is continuous is sequential, and anything that is uh, coming after any interval, that would be episodic. So this is the revision of the lecture. Static versus dynamic, as the name say, shows that any environment that is fixed, that would be static, and any environment that is dynamic, or that have different dimensions, that would be dynamic. Next, we can have a discrete versus continuous. So in discrete and in continuous, discrete means fixed. Like we have an example of we can have an example of um, speedometer of any vehicle. In some vehicle, you uh, observe that there is a speedometer that have the speed meter showing 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are the discrete values. On the other hand, there is another speedometer by which the speed of the car is increasing with a needle. So the needle is covering all the points between 1 and 2. The needle is also moving from 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and then the point comes to. But in discrete speedometer, you only have one value or two value. So there is no value in between them. So this is discrete. And in continuous, anything that is in the continuous form, as the speedometer of car that contains needle, that is moving in continuous form. The next is agent, single agent versus multi agent. Single agent means in environment where only one system is moving, that would be called called single agent. And in a different environment where we have multi agent, multi agent means if we have different types of computers working in one environment, then this would known as multi agent. So fully observable, this one is remaining. Fully observable versus partially observable. Fully observable means if you are playing a chess game, as we have discussed here, if we are playing a game, this would be fully observable. You have rules, you have predefined rules, you can only move according to those rules, and you cannot move uh, by violating those rules. So this environment is fully observable. This environment is also fully observable as the game has different kinds of rules. Here, this is medical diagnosis. In medical diagnosis, you cannot diagnose the patient straight away, but you have observance, but it would be partially observable. And second is partially observable. So this is the difference between fully observable versus partially observable. If I revise all the lecture that we have discussed in first lecture and second lecture, in first lecture we had revised and we have studied um, basic concept of artificial intelligence. What is actually the artificial intelligence is. In first lecture we had also discussed about the definitions of artificial intelligence. In the first lecture we had also discussed about what is the origination of artificial intelligence. In first lecture we had also discussed about different uh, different environments of artificial intelligence. So this is all from the third lecture. In the next coming up lectures, we will discuss about agent types. So this lecture would be very amazing, as you would be able to learn about what are the agents and what are different types of agents that are working in the environment. So the agent could be simple reflex agent, the agent could be goal based, it could be utility based, or it could be learning agent. So these are the basic different types of agents that we will discuss in our coming up lecture. Hope you all have learned about different types of environmental examples. So This is all from the third lecture, and inshallah, see you in our fourth lecture. So, till then, Allah Hafiz.